What if the greatest secret of human history wasn't hidden in ancient texts or buried in forgotten tombs, but pulsing within you right now, waiting to be awakened?
Welcome to Secrets of the Ancients, where ancient mysteries awaken.
Today, we dive into a story so profound, so transformative, that it was deliberately erased from the pages of history. The story of Mary Magdalene and the Dragon Lineage. This isn't just a tale of a woman misunderstood by time. It's a revelation about a sacred bloodline, a spiritual frequency, and a power so immense it threatened empires. For centuries, Mary Magdalene was reduced to a mere footnote in Christian history, a penitent sinner, a secondary figure. But what if she was far more? What if she was a teacher, a mystic, a keeper of divine wisdom whose very existence challenged the foundations of control? And what if her legacy, the Dragon Lineage, still vibrates within us today? In this video, we'll explore the forbidden story of Mary Magdalene, the sacred feminine, and the Dragon Lineage. A lineage not of royalty, but of spiritual awakening. We'll uncover why her truth was buried, how it survived in whispers and symbols, and what it means for us today. This is not just history, it's a call to remember who you are. So let's begin this journey together. And by the end, you may find that the truth you've been seeking has been within you all along. Beneath the weight of centuries, Mary Magdalene's name echoes like a half-forgotten melody, distorted by the hands of those who sought to control the narrative of human spirituality. To the mainstream, she's a penitent sinner, a woman redeemed by grace, a minor character in the grand story of Christianity. But peel back the layers of dogma, and you'll find a figure of breathtaking depth, a teacher, a mystic, an initiate whose wisdom threatened the very foundations of empire. The Gospel of Mary, a text buried in the sands of Egypt for nearly 2 millennia, paints her not as a follower but as a leader, her voice resonant with spiritual intelligence. In the Pistis Sophia, she questions, consoles, and unveils truths that vibrate beyond moral codes, touching the essence of divine knowing. She wasn't just present, she was central, a beacon of the sacred feminine, a counterpoint to the divine masculine, embodying a balance that once defined the spiritual pulse of humanity. Why then was she relegated to the margins? The answer lies not in her irrelevance but in her power. Mary Magdalene represented spiritual autonomy, the radical notion that the divine could be accessed without priests, temples, or hierarchies. Her teachings, rooted in direct revelation, were a wildfire that could burn through the structures of control being erected by the early church as it aligned with the Roman Empire. To silence her was to sever a current of consciousness, one that declared every soul a vessel of light, capable of touching the infinite without permission. This wasn't just the erasure of a woman, it was the suppression of a truth that could set hearts free. Personal reflection. I remember the first time I read the Gospel of Mary. It wasn't in a classroom or a church, but in a quiet coffee shop, the pages of a tattered book glowing under the dim light. Her words hit me like a tuning fork, resonating with something deep inside, a knowing I couldn't explain but couldn't deny. Have you ever felt that? A truth that bypasses your intellect and lands in your soul, whispering, "This is real." That's Mary Magdalene's legacy. The quiet voice within that doesn't need a degree or a doctrine to be valid. It's the same voice that stirs when you gaze at a starry sky or feel a pang of recognition in an ancient symbol. Her story challenges us to trust that voice, even when the world tells us it's foolish. Beyond the veil of Mary Magdalene's historical erasure lies a deeper mystery, the Dragon Lineage. This isn't a tale of fire-breathing beasts or medieval knights, but a spiritual inheritance, a sacred frequency that pulses through time, carrying the memory of divine union. In ancient Egypt, the uraeus serpent crowned pharaohs, a symbol of awakened consciousness. In Mesopotamia, dragons coiled around the tree of life, guardians of cosmic ascent. The Celts spoke of the Pendragon, a leader whose blood bridged heaven and earth. These weren't myths, they were ciphers, pointing to a lineage of souls who carry the fire of direct revelation, not in castles or crests, but in their very being. The Dragon Lineage, as tied to Mary Magdalene, speaks of a sacred partnership with Jesus, one that transcended romance to become alchemical. Their union was a deliberate act, braiding masculine and feminine energies into a luminous current, planting a seed in humanity's timeline. Whether this seed bore physical children or purely spiritual offspring, it embedded a vibration that persists in the dreams of mystics, the carvings of labyrinths, and the hearts of those who feel inexplicably drawn to the sacred. This lineage isn't about genetics, it's about resonance, a frequency tuned to courage, curiosity, and inner silence. Story example: the stone circle's call. Picture this: a windswept hill in Ireland where ancient stones stand in a circle, weathered by time yet humming with presence. A friend of mine, Sarah, wandered there on a whim during a solo trip. She wasn't spiritual, just curious. As she stepped into the circle, she felt the air shift, like stepping into a different dimension. Her skin prickled and a memory, not hers yet hers, flashed through her mind. A woman in a red cloak, chanting under a moonlit sky. Sarah left that day shaken, but something in her had awakened. She started painting, creating images of dragons and spirals she couldn't explain. That's the dragon lineage at work, a spark that ignites when you brush against its frequency, whether in a stone circle or a quiet moment of meditation. Have you ever felt the world pause as if it's whispering a secret only you can hear? Personal insight. I've felt that frequency myself, sitting by a river at dusk, the water's song blending with my breath. It's not about being chosen. It's about being present. The dragon lineage isn't locked in ancient bloodlines. It's alive in anyone who dares to listen to the pulse beneath the noise of modern life. When I light a candle and let my mind still, I sense it. A wordless knowing, a connection to something vast and ancient. It's like tuning a radio to a station that's been broadcasting forever, waiting for you to find it. The silencing of Mary Magdalene and the dragon lineage was no mere oversight. It was a calculated act of spiritual sabotage. As Christianity fused with the Roman Empire, the mystical path of direct revelation was smothered under layers of doctrine. The kingdom within, spoken of by Jesus, was replaced by a kingdom without, ruled by bishops and enforced by soldiers. The sacred feminine, embodied by Magdalene, was a threat because it empowered individuals to bypass the gatekeepers of spirituality. Her gospels were hidden, labeled heresy, or burned. The Cathars, who revered her as a symbol of divine wisdom, were slaughtered in a crusade that turned southern France into a pyre. The Templars, guardians of esoteric truths, were betrayed, their secrets buried under accusations of heresy. Why such ferocity to erase a myth? Because it wasn't a myth, it was a key to liberation. The dragon lineage carried teachings of inner transformation, sacred sexuality, and divine union. It declared the body a temple, the feminine co-creative, and the Christ a state of being, not a distant savior. Magdalene was a portal to this truth, her presence a reminder that every soul could access the divine without fear or intermediaries. To bury her was to bury the spark of freedom that could topple empires built on control. Story example: the Cathar's hidden symbol. Imagine a moonless night in 13th century Languedoc, where a Cathar elder gathers her community in a cave, their faces lit by flickering torches. They speak of Mary Magdalene not as a sinner but as the Grail, the vessel of divine remembrance. The elder carves a dragon into a stone, whispering, "This is our truth and it will endure." When soldiers come, the cave is sealed, the community lost to history. Centuries later, an archaeologist uncovers that stone, its dragon still vivid. I read about this discovery in a dusty journal, and it struck me. Truth doesn't die, it waits. The Cathar's courage mirrors our own struggles to honor our inner knowing in a world that demands conformity. Their story asks us, what are you willing to protect, even in silence? Personal reflection. The Cathar's fate haunts me, but it also inspires. Their refusal to betray their truth reminds me of moments when I've doubted my own intuition, only to find it was right all along. The Dragon Lineage challenges us to stand firm, to trust the sacred within, even when it's easier to blend in. It's a call to reclaim our spiritual sovereignty, not with swords but with sight, seeing the world as it truly is, alive with mystery and meaning. We live in a world drowning in noise, smartphones buzzing, headlines screaming, algorithms pulling us into endless distraction. Yet beneath this chaos, something ancient stirs. The veils are lifting, and Mary Magdalene's legacy is resurfacing, not as a religious icon, but as an archetype of the sacred feminine. She is the wisdom we buried, the intuition we silenced, the balance we lost. The Dragon Lineage isn't a relic of history. It's a frequency awakening in those who dare to seek beyond the surface. You don't need to be a scholar or a mystic to connect with this lineage. It lives in your quiet moments of courage, in your refusal to numb your soul, in your hunger for meaning in a world obsessed with shallow distractions. It's in the way you pause to listen to a bird's song or feel a shiver when you see an ancient spiral carved in stone. The Grail isn't a cup or a bloodline, it's you, the vessel of divine remembrance, the space where masculine and feminine energies meet to create a new. Story example: the Black Madonna's gaze. Last year, I met a woman named Elena at a spiritual retreat. She shared a story that stayed with me. Visiting a small chapel in Spain, she sat before a Black Madonna statue, its dark face serene and timeless. Elena wasn't religious, but something compelled her to stay. As she gazed into the statue's eyes, tears streamed down her face, not from sadness, but from recognition. It was like she was saying, "You've always known me," Elena told me. That moment sparked a transformation. She began journaling, exploring meditation, and trusting her intuition. The Black Madonna, often linked to Magdalene, is a symbol of the sacred feminine, a reminder that the divine isn't distant but within us, waiting to be acknowledged. Personal insight. I've had my own encounters with this frequency, like finding a Gnostic text in a second-hand bookstore, its pages feeling like a letter from an old friend. These moments aren't coincidences. They're the Dragon Lineage calling, inviting us to awaken. When I sit in silence, one hand on my heart, the other on my belly, I feel it. A current that's both ancient and alive, urging me to remember who I am. I believe this call is universal, stirring in anyone who feels there's more to life than what meets the eye. As we journey through Mary Magdalene's story and the Dragon Lineage, several truths emerge, each a beacon for our modern lives. Trust the inner flame. Like Magdalene, you carry a sacred intelligence that doesn't need external validation. Listen to it, even when it challenges the status quo. It's the spark that guides you home. Honor the balance. The sacred feminine and masculine are partners, not rivals. Healing our world begins with embracing both within ourselves, creating harmony where division once stood. Courage is remembrance. The bravest act is to remember your divine origin, to carry the Dragon Lineage's frequency in a world that forgets. Your presence is a quiet revolution, Truth endures. No matter how deeply buried, truth finds its way. Your awakening is part of a larger tapestry, weaving a future where the sacred is reclaimed. Personal reflection. Exploring this story has been a mirror for me, reflecting my own journey of doubt and discovery. The Dragon Lineage isn't just a historical curiosity, it's a living current, flowing through every soul brave enough to answer its call. I feel it when I meditate by candlelight, when I walk through an ancient forest, when I choose authenticity over approval. My hope is that this story stirs something in you, a memory, a spark, a reminder that you are the Grail, the vessel, the light. The lineage isn't a royal bloodline, it's a spiritual frequency, and it's already within you, waiting to be claimed. If this message spoke to you, don't let it fade. Like this video, subscribe to Secrets of the Ancients and share it with someone ready to awaken. For more on cosmic rays, esotericism, and hidden wisdom, check out the ebook What Are Cosmic Rays by Bethagel, linked in the pinned comment. Your awakening is not just personal, it's part of a greater remembering. Let's keep the flame alive together. Closing quote, "The wound is the place where the light enters you." Rumi. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Until next time, keep seeking, keep remembering, and keep shining.